worldwide terrorism data. And I said this is all in the podcast. I spent a lot of time on it. It's 2 hours long. Not many people have fucking listened to it, so could you just go listen to it, please? That'd be nice. Right. Terrorism is usually understood as the use of threat or violence to further a political cause. That's right. There's no universally agreed definition of terrorism, making it difficult object to quantify. Right, yeah, so we know this. Historical terrorism, but let's just look at data, yeah? Where's the data? Give me the fucking data, mate. So this is the Worldwide Terrorist Index, okay? And it's bloody interesting, okay? Right, so 2017, big year for terror, as we know. That was the last year of, like, rampant terrorism. It's chilled out a lot since then. Why? I don't know. I don't quite know. I'll try to find out. Like, maybe, maybe intelligence services got to grips with it, or maybe Islamic State is failing as well. I mean, that fueled a lot of terrorism after 2012 that were like way more influential than Al Qaeda could ever dream of. But Al Qaeda 2.0 that we've been warned about. Yeah, we wouldn't want the security services to drop the ball and be looking at anything else, would we? When Al Qaeda 2.0 comes up, I don't know. Wouldn't want that to happen, would we? Right now, number of terrorist incidents in 2017. So, So here, look, it goes from white to beige, all the way to look. It's like a tan. That's that's okay. Oh, need to slap a bit more on. Or lobster time. Oh, ow, Jesus! Go to A&E. Yeah, it's the tan. It's the tan. The tan of terrorism. Terrorism tan, if you like, across the world. God, look at the UK compared to. God, we had a good year for terrorism, didn't we? 2017, bloody good year, vintage year for terrorist attacks in the UK. We had it good. France the year before, shat all over us. So swings and roundabouts. Spain, look at Spain having nothing, but they had their turn a few years ago, as we'll see. Russia, where's the worst then? Somalia, no surprise there. Iraq, what's the fucking wars? Iraq more than Syria. It's a war zone, isn't it? Afghanistan, ridiculous. India, massive country though, so Pakistan. I mean, India's fucking huge. China, nothing. Well, I mean, we probably wouldn't hear about it anyway, so, what's the point in doing it? 179 in Thailand. Ooh, that's probably mainly down in the south with the separatists, actually. That's all interesting, isn't it? Look at all the ones in Colombia. Look at all the ones in America. Look at all the ones in... Yeah, right. Yeah, so, number of fatalities from terrorist attacks, I mean, across the world. This is 2017, guys. 44,000 across the world, right? Now, where's all the main shit going on? Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, that's hard to differentiate because there's still technically war zones. And Syria, but they're up there, so can't take that away from them, can you? Look at the United States, 3,000. What into? Oh, sorry, that was 9/11. My apologies. Oh my God, of course. That was 9/11. That's the date. Oh, I'm really sorry. Yeah, that'll explain why there was. I was like 3,000. Oh yeah, you forget about 9/11. How many people died? It was like shit. Like not that many people have died in one country in one single go for a long time. Except Spain. Even Spain wasn't that close, really. Now, number of non-fatal injuries from terrorist attacks. Look at all this. Colombia, China, Kuwait. This is worldwide. No, this is Iraq. Fuck me. 16. Jesus, innit? Terrorism after 9/11. Now, this is very interesting. Okay. So, 10 most attacked countries and territories. So, after 9/11, you got Iraq, India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Thailand, Philippines, Russia, Colombia, Israel, Nepal. Pretty much, there's no surprises in there, really. It's all like, yep. Thailand, I'm quite surprised by, but then, like I said, they in the south, on the border of Malaysia, there is a whole. They're Muslims. They're also want their own. Basically, they want their own state. their own Muslim kingdom. So they're like separatists. And plus you had like, I don't know if they count the two opposing factions of the political parties and that shit as well. But there you go. Now look at this. Now before then, Colombia. You know, when Colombia was mad and fucking crazy. Peru. When Peru was mad and fucking crazy. El Salvador, which still is pretty fucking crazy. But, you know, they didn't have all this to... they didn't have, you know, the Iraq War, the Afghan War, and all these other motherfuckers to contend with. Northern Ireland. Remember the good old days of terrorism and Northern Ireland? Bygone era. India, Spain, Turkey, Chile, Sri Lanka, Philippines. Now, so here we have all the terrorist incidents. Here's the number. Look, 122 incidents we had in 2017. Airline hijackings and international terrorism. Blah, blah, blah. So look, I mean, this is all interesting. Number of terrorism fatalities. Now look how much it escalated in 2014. See, this is the graph I've looked at before. So when ISIS, so even after 9/11, it was pretty chill, you know, it went up. 7/7, so that was the, you know, the attacks in the UK. Then it goes up, and then when ISIS come on the scene around 2012, it just goes from like, you talk about, you know, worldwide 12,000, it starts going up to 22,000, and then it peaks at 44,000 in 2014. And then it drops down. But even 2017, which is a bad year, is 26,000. But like, look, the most it peaked before then ever was 12,000. And that was a vintage year, 2007. Even after, like, look at that. 44,000 terrorist attacks, right? And look how much of it is in Southeast Asia. Look how much. Look at the numbers. South Asia, Southeast Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, Middle East, North Africa. Look at that. 20,000 in the middle. Look at that. Western Europe, 5. Eastern Europe, 1,467. Right. But you want to fucking tell me that people are bigoted because they had concerns? I mean, it wasn't like this was kept under wraps. I mean, the worldwide numbers weren't even talking about. But fuck me, it was always there's always something going on. You wonder why people have concerns? It's like, you know, just fuck off. Like, come on. Do I have concerns? No, because I know how fear-mongering works. I never had the concerns because I knew it's just a fear machine. It's constantly running, and it's constantly got to keep you in your place. It's a fucking, you know, newspapers want money and the government wants you scared. I sound like a right conspiracy theorist right now, don't I? But, you know, what are you going to do? But I didn't know the sheer volume of the numbers, and I don't think a lot of people do worldwide. But I think people knew that a lot was going on more than usual. Because we're kind of like having attacks here and there, and we're like, yeah. But then it started going crazy. I mean, and you know, ISIS said they were going to flood. Well, it was only one, actually. It was one report, and I think it's from Italian. As far as I know, it was one report from an Italian intelligence agency. Now, like, I don't know, the Italian intelligence community isn't like world renowned, you know. There's no Bertolucci Bond, but just like what I did. But they, you know, the report was, you know, ISIS was going to flood Europe with terror, and the world, and they did, in a way. I don't know, because we thought, and people were like going, well, there's recruits, you know, there's ISIS people amongst all their migrants and shit. Well, no, it was more of the influence of ISIS was spreading. And the evidence is there that ISIS were no joke, especially when it came to worldwide shit. A lot of the stuff we saw, because when it was Al Qaeda attacks, it was like, yeah, but like, is it them just saying it is, you know? Yeah. Like, they claimed every attack, and ISIS was doing the same thing. And I thought, they claimed every attack, but like, their influence is not to be sniffed at. How rampant it was. So you wonder. Yeah, so you can't. What I'm saying is, a lot of people say, it's because of austerity and the financial crash of 2008 and far right extremism has risen because of poverty. No, I think not. I think not. The so-called nationalist ideology and the fact that people are going a bit more right when it comes to immigration, especially, and the spotlight on Islam is like, just look at the fucking data. It's here. Like you wonder why people are concerned. Look at this spike. Have you ever seen a spike like that? Imagine if that was your profits. You'd have a massive boner. You'd be like, Jesus, look how rich we are. Like, just look at it. Look at that. Fucking look at it. I just realised on the screen you can't really see it. Look at that. Let me just move that. Sorry. I mean, look at the size of that. Let me move it across a second. Oh, I don't know. I'm moving the wrong thing. Look, just so you can get it. Just take it all in. How big this is. Look at it. Look at the fucking size of this thing. I'm gonna make it bigger, just so you can fucking take it in. Look at that. Like, that's worldwide terrorism of the influence of ISIS. Okay, right? That's real. That's real data. That's not people talking, you know, who are going, oh, right-wing extremism, oh, nationalism, oh. It's like, look, you wonder why people think the way they do sometimes. You wonder why someone like Tommy Robinson is becoming more popular. Look at the graph. And you were there. Remember all the attacks that went on? You wonder why people are going a bit more over there, and why some people who are very centrist are a bit concerned about why people are concerned about Islam and immigration. You can't go around just accusing everyone of being like a fascist, being an Islamophobe, being a bigot, being a racist and whatever. Okay, you can't do that. When the media has drummed this shit into your head, it's been drummed into your head too, constantly drummed into your head, constant focus on it, incident after incident, and you know the influence of ISIS on worldwide terrorism is just insane. Like, just look at the graph, like it's there. So it's a nonsense for people to feel like that, to treat people like that, have those concerns. That's why I've never done it. Like me, am I scared of the Islamic threat? No. Do you know why? Because I'm more informed than all of you motherfuckers, and I'll show you. You want to have a look? So here's terrorism. You know, this goes on and on. There's a lot here. Just check it out. Just go and just look up the. It's on Our World in Data. Look at the terrorism database. But you want to know about the history of terrorism. Okay. Oh, hang on. I got another link here before I go into that. Hang on. I forgot this one. I can't remember what this one is. God, there's a lot of stuff. So if you look at the number of terrorist attacks worldwide between 2000 and... Oh, right. It's basically the same data. It's wanting me to pay for this shit. Well, I'm not fucking paying for it. I've already seen it for free. I thought there was more in there. Now it's asking me to pay for it. Fuck knows. Now, this is from the Telegraph a few years ago. I found this because it was decent data, because I know this data. It looks pretty, and I never go on the Telegraph, so you know, might as well give them some clicks. They got families to feed and all. Now have a look. So how many people are killed by terrorist attacks in the UK? So, you know, this is from 2017, obviously October 2017. So this is a a key moment in very recent history, not that long ago, when people were fucking losing their shit over all the terrorist attacks going on and going, when will this shit end? And for some reason, I still don't know why, but in 2018, everything just went like really chilled out. Not in the Middle East, unfortunately. Like last year, 40,000 people were killed in Afghanistan. But for us, it was pretty cool. Now, MI5 director, and this is what astonishes me. Now, listen to this. This is October 2017. This is, so what is it? It's a year and 5 months ago. It's barely 18 months ago. Okay. Of this recording. If you're watching this in 10 years' time, I'm glad I'm still online. Right, MI5 Director General Andrew Parker has made a rare public appearance to talk about the intense threat Britain faces from Islamic terrorism. The head of the UK Security Service said jihadists were now conceiving and preparing attacks in a matter of days, referring to both the number of thwarted and successful attacks the UK has faced this year. The UK has been rocked by 4 terror attacks in 2017, with the most recent attack taking place at Parsons Green Tube Station last month. I can remember that because I was actually on my way to Victoria Station when it happened. But despite this string of attacks, relatively few people have been killed by terrorist attacks in the UK in recent years. And this is true. Because the fact is, we do, I believe it, this is what's so weird. And this is always, this is something I've known for a long time. We are living like one of the most peaceful times on Earth. Okay. Now, if you asked anyone who heavily identified on one side or the other of the political compass, if it was right wingers or left wingers, if you said that to them, any of them, they're going, "No, it's not. It's the most evil time of the year." Woo! Well, they're chatting shit. Why are they chatting shit? Because they're ill-informed, brainwashed. I don't know. Many reasons. All you got to do is look at a nice graph. Now, obviously, what I like about this one is they've sort of pinpointed to, big amounts of killings that sort of, boost the numbers. Obviously, like 9/11 will, because it's thousands. So obviously it's going to boost the numbers. Because that's why you get look at these spikes like Lockerbie. You have, obviously, because you're like, 1988? What the fuck happened in 1988? But, you've got Lockerbie. So it's all pretty steady. The 70s was a golden age of terrorism. Look at this. Worst year in half a century in Northern Ireland. In 1972, 353 killed. This is terrorism in the UK. So we got Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales. England is red. Wales, totally insignificant. So Scotland, only because of Lockerbie, really. So when you got England and Northern Ireland, obviously so obviously most of the prime targets for the IRA were in Ireland. Now look at this. This is terrorists on our fucking doorstep, right? This is our neighbours. Not even our neighbours. They're part of our fucking country. But but there's water in between us. But they have British passports. I don't know how they identify like that. But look, and Europe is quite similar. Many different, but this is what we dealt with for a very long time. And I can remember the 80s, I can remember the early 90s. All this shit was going on. And look, it's pretty steady. 70s is pretty mental. And then the 80s, it starts to dip down a bit. And then it goes up a little bit more. And then you get Lockerbie banging there, which is a totally different incident. And then you get down, again, down. So, and then you got Omar in 28 killed in just one incident in 1998. Just before the peace process was sort of kicking in. And then you look at, terrorist attacks. So London, you got 2005, 7/7 bombings, and the other one, so 52. For some reason, you got Joe Cox murder is just thrown in there because there's one in 2016. And 2017 is literally, we have two in the UK. That is Europe, different story. But in the UK, 2017 and 2005 are our two mental years for terrorism in the UK. Pretty much for over a 20-year span, maybe more than that. Super chill times. So there's a generation who won't even know, won't have a clue what it was like to live at the times of the height of the IRA. Well, here it is, right? Now, how successful they are at thwarting IRA attacks, I don't know. How successful have they been at thwarting? What's the success rate of thwarting attacks between Islamic extremism and Irish terrorists? Are there more Islamic extremists in the UK than there are, Republican members of the Republican Army, Irish Republican Army? I don't know. You'd have to ask MI5. But look, we've lived in very peaceful times for a very long time in the UK, and we've just had we've had a couple of bad years. I know, but the thing is, it's widespread across Europe. But people won't remember that. Older generations will. But what's strange is MI5 director less than 16 months, probably 16 months ago, is saying, warning about how many terror plots they're thwarting from jihadists, how prevalent it was, saying how dangerous it is. And now, totally changed their fucking tune. This is MI5, totally changed their tune. Now they're like, oh, no. It's far-right extremism. So it's like, right, well, can you please tell us why you think it's more... Because we haven't seen much. And we haven't seen much for a long time, but you're telling us all these Islamic extremists have suddenly gone away. Well, why aren't they a threat no more in such a short amount of time? Why? Did they even exist? The numbers you threw out? The threats you made? What is it? Are they all super chilled now? Did they all join ISIS and they're not here anymore? Well, what happened? What fucking happened? Why'd you change your tune so much? Because we haven't really seen a rise of fraud. I mean, you could call it a rise if you just have like one incident, like in a very peaceful time in our lives. Then yeah. Now, doesn't it make you think that maybe it's in the media? I mean, I'd say it's in the media's best interest to have something to scaremonger us, because after 9/11, it was just gold for them all. They didn't have to do any news. It was just there was always something going on Islamic related. You had two massive wars going on. So you got Iraq and Afghanistan. And there was we just desensitized it. It was like, there's a bombing again. There's another bombing. 53 people dead. 100 people dead. It's like, you just fucking, who knows? It's like they're making the numbers up. It's like, yeah, they're dead. Then you get attacks across Europe and blah blah blah, and everyone's just bored of it. And there was always something for the news to talk about. They didn't have to talk about much else. And the only past few years, all we've had is like Brexit, obviously, 2017, and then we had a load of terror attacks, and then it all suddenly quietened down right across Europe. And now they're like, oh, we need something for you to be scared of, so just let's all be scared of white people, which is weird. That's what it kind of is. I know that makes you sound like a fucking loon bag. I don't know, but it kind of is. It's like it goes across the UK, and you think, hey, because if you're only scared, let's put it this way: if the media and the government are framing something, and they say, right, Islamic extremism, there's a hell of a lot of them, okay, and you got a population, Muslim population is like a couple million out of 60 million. I can't remember the exact numbers. Should we look? No, we'll keep it simple. Just say it's 3 mil. Say it's 3 mil. It's not a lot compared to the rest of the population. So you think, and only a small percentage of them are going to be, that way inclined, a bit terrory. And you're like, well, that's not a lot. We can handle that. There's about 20 of us or more than that. Maybe there's 100 of us to every jihadi. I'm sure we can outnumber them at least. Even some of the babies can get involved. So but imagine this, and it's like, a huge percentage of white nationals are potential terrorists. Now you're talking about 86% of the population. Now you're talking about like over 50 million people potentially. Like what? Maybe it's just a small percentage of that. It's probably a couple of mil. If it's the same, like, who knows? It's a lot, and that's like. And that's like, they're all fucking. Now you can have people being scared of all fucking white people now. Like the majority of the country are potential terrorists. Is that what you're trying to say? Like, why? Like, what is all this? What is all this? I'll tell you what it is. It's fucking mind control. But probably, I don't know. It's just like, there's an agenda. I know there's an agenda by the media, but the government's agenda is always a bit chippy-choppy. But we're living in a very safe time. But there's a huge, terrorism was just a huge focus a few years ago, and understandably because it spiked. But now it's like, now what? Right-wing extremism, when there's basically no extremism going on. So we're living in the most peaceful times, have been for fucking decades, mate. Apart from a few bad years. But apart from that, super chill. All right, the threat's been out there, but it's been thwarted. I think many threats have been thwarted over the fucking years. Yeah. Like, but that I'm not dismissing people's concerns, because obviously terrorism did fucking spike a few years ago and went fucking crazy, but it's still not as bad as it was back in the day in the UK anyway, tax-wise, what I'm saying. But for them to suddenly change the narrative in 16 months away from like, my God, there's like 30. We need more resources to take on these 30,000 Islamists that are dormant in the UK, and they can't get a handle on it. To suddenly, no, it's all fine. It's right-wing extremism we need to take care of. Why is that? Why has that suddenly changed all of a sudden? I remember what it was like before 2001. I remember the laws they brought in after 2001. And I'm keeping a very close eye on what they're doing now. Shit, I can remember what they did after the riots. People on Twitter. People just talking about being in the riots and 2 years in jail. Just saying, I'm going down the riots. Guy got 2 years in jail on Twitter. Well, this started a long time ago. But it's like, I've always kept an eye on it for a long time, just looking at it going, oh, here's this. But it keeps changing, it keeps morphing about which side of the political spectrum is pushing it more. But it all sort of molds into one. You got useful idiots, and then you got demented motherfuckers. You know, there's all kinds of people. But like, I see you. And now I do sound like a conspiracy loon. But like I said the other day, look, I remember looking at things in loads of mad conspiracy shit. Like, I'll just get to the bottom of it, right? When it comes to conspiracy theories and shit, I think you should keep an open mind, but I do often get bothered by conspiracy theorists because a lot of it's based on misinformation, a lot of it's based on lunacy, a lot of it's based on anti-Semitism. Like anything to do with the Rothschilds and they went in there to take over the central bank. It's half the time, there's not even such thing as a central bank anyway, and the Rothschilds are like they're not some megalomaniac banking dynasty. They're so spread out, you know. My Rothschild has been dead for hundreds of years. All right, everyone needs to chill. So that's why I'm very skeptical about it. And everyone goes, "Well, the towers don't fall, buildings don't fall like that." It's like, what? You suddenly got a degree in construction engineering, have you? Well, that's fascinating. And how long did it take you to get that degree? And what was your evidence? A YouTube video on Red Pilled 666. I hate the globalists. YouTube channel. I was like, come on, man. So that's where I draw a line at conspiracy, but there are real conspiracies out there. And what I found fascinating, you know, I remember watching stuff like Zeitgeist and Loose Change back in the day and being absolutely fucking terrified. Like when they come out going, oh my God, Jesus Christ, it's all a lie and everyone's coming to get me. I was like, whoa, fuck. And then after a while you look into it and you look at the and you're like, okay, there's most of this is fucking bullshit. But what they'd be saying, and I keep saying this, but it's fucking true. What they'd be saying, people like Alex Jones would be saying, is that, you know, they were using the whole thing was what they would say, right, is that the whole reason for 9/11 was to gain more control and to push through a terrorism bill, and it was basically a big globalist thing, right? And there was talk about something called, you know, we got the euro in Europe, but they wanted to call something the Amero, like an American currency, was for all of America and North America, and they wanted chips put in your fingers, but the main thing was to push through a terrorism bill so we'd give away more of our civil liberties. And the thing is, the terrorism bill came in, and many, you know, one in the UK and one in America, and over the years they've extended it and and now they're starting to use it more and more. And now, with this thing that's happening in New Zealand, now it's getting to a stage where it's like they're going to start implementing more things. And you can see, I'm like about 10 steps ahead, but I think they might be 20. I don't know. But I'm just looking at it going, oh, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And it's like, oh my God. So maybe there is a bit of truth in some of those lunatic conspiracy videos you watch back in the day, because you see it and it's like, oh, they are actually doing that. They did actually do that, and now they've actually done this, like, years later. It's like, oh, poo. And then it just, I said this on the stream the other day, but I'm saying it again, it's just made me go, it's like, I just don't know where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at. Where are you at? I don't know where I'm at, because I'm seeing it going, oh, no. But it's, like, right there. So it's like, oh, shit, well... So, you know, now with that said, with them using terrorist atrocities and tragedies, using it to get the public behind doing something, and I say they, who am I talking about? Well, the media seem to like this, and the government seems to like this. And Seems like there's an uneasy truce between them, but it does seem like they're both complicit in pushing forward ideas. Because it works for both of them, in a way. It definitely works for the media, because the media is crumbling. And it works for the government. Well, they're the fucking government. So, saying, like, looking over the past few years and how they've used incidents of mass tragedy, mass shootings and terrorist attacks and so forth to push through new bills and to stop things from happening, regulate the internet, regulate social media, make social media companies and technology companies complicit in spying on us, which is happening.